time was in need of that loan. And they came to the United States for a loan of $2 billion, and they were turned down. And I believe that's why he lost the election and lost the second term, was because of refusal to stand with Israel. And the same thing is happening to this president, who we all, I think the church agreed, was a Christian, someone who believed in the Bible. Yet here he is giving away God's. He's the first president to propose a Palestinian state.
Right. You're right.
Yeah, but he's done
And
a lot of
his
things.
popularity went from the 60s to 29% after he proposed that.
He's done a lot more things that have actually jeopardized our nation. I mean, he's done a lot of things.
He's done a lot of things to jeopardize our nation from our point of view, but he's also protected our nation. We have not had an attack
Yeah,
on this soil
I've heard that already.
since 9/11.
But is that because we're more aware of things as far as our guard is up a little better than it was before?
I'm
See,
sure our guard is up,
Sure.
but a lot of that has to do with
It's not what's going on in Iraq. I don't
no,
know that.
not with Iraq. I
That's
don't
the
believe,
argument.
personally myself, I don't believe we should have gone into Iraq.
Right, but that's the argument they're making, though. They're saying that we're safe now because of Iraq.
I believe that, my belief is that, and I've said this numerous times to people when I was asked my opinion on Iraq, that I believe that the only reason why we went in to Iraq is because he wanted to
Exactly. I agree with
take
that.
out Saddam Hussein, because Saddam
Yeah,
Hussein
an
tried to
agenda.
assassinate his father.
There's a personal agenda.
I think it was a personal agenda, plus the fact, believe it or not, the person who gave the last prophecies that I read
Mhm.
prophesied that 9/11 was going to happen,
Mhm.
and also prophesied that it was not God's will for us to take revenge, that God would do it on our behalf.
That's pretty good.
But yet we went in and took revenge.
I just want to draw a contrast where between Kissinger and Baker, both recommending to the president to deny aid to Israel when Nixon was president. Golda Meir asked Nixon for immediate help, otherwise they'd go under, and he gave everything they wanted.
There's just, God is true to his word, okay? Yes.
Can I take away from this class that we really need to pay attention to the voices that we hear and make sure it's the voice of God?
Yes. Yes, we need to make sure that it's the voice of God.
In a nutshell. We're all gonna hear what this.
We're all gonna hear, there's
through
3
email.
voices that you can hear.
We're gonna
Yes.
hear hundreds of emails, we're gonna hear hundreds of coworkers, we're gonna hear, we've heard so much. Just like
That's
those
my
emails.
point.
What do we grasp onto?
That's my point.
How?
You
Not
need
the
to
point.
hear the
Okay.
voice of God and know what's right and what's wrong. Okay? It's very easy. I'll give it to you. Okay? I said go away, and have, form your own opinion. Like I said, I believe the last one was the voice of God. God can change people,
And time's gonna prove it.
and time will prove it. Right?
Time's gonna prove it.
My spirit, the one that hurt my spirit, I believe was the second one that I read. Everything in there was I. Okay? The first one I read sounded very good, but that was the one that was negative. That's the one that was negative. There was a lot of truth in what was said in that. Okay, about George Bush and everything else, and all that coming true. But the rejection, the outright rejection of a man is not godly. Okay, let me say that, because God can always change a person.
He's into restoration. God's always into
always
restoration.
into restoration and
Gotcha.
reconciliation.
Amen.
And we might have our own opinions, we might have formed our own opinions on both sides, but it's God's opinion that counts.
Amen.
And if God says that he's gonna change the man that he put, that was put into office, he could change that person.
You know,
Yes.
Rich, I watched Dr. John Hagee a lot on.
Okay,
TV.
excuse me, one second. Paul, can you just reach back, and in the back of the camera, there's the button, just push that button so it'll stop recording.